creates monsters. Not always by choice, not always by nature, but by necessity. In the chaos of World War II, millions of young men were thrown into battlefields they could barely understand, against enemies they had never met. Most fought to survive. Some fought for their brothers beside them, but a very small number became something else entirely. Men whose combat records were so extreme, so lethal, so statistically shocking, that even hardened historians struggled to fully comprehend what they achieved. These were not generals. They were not famous strategists. They were frontline soldiers, pilots, fighters, who personally destroyed enemy forces at a scale almost impossible to imagine. Tonight, we count down the 5 deadliest American soldiers of World War II, not by legend, not by myth, but by what history itself can prove. From burning European towns to frozen forests, from Pacific jungles to the skies over Germany. These are the men whose battlefield lethality changed the outcome of fights, battles, and sometimes entire campaigns. In modern war, we measure destruction with machines, artillery, bombers, tanks. But sometimes, the most destructive force on a battlefield is a single determined human being who refuses to retreat. Staff Sergeant Charles E. Kelly was exactly that kind of force. Small-town Pennsylvania, steelworker background, no elite upbringing, no military dynasty, just stubborn courage and an instinct that made him lethal in close combat. By 1943, Kelly was fighting in Italy with the U.S. Army Rangers, a unit already known for taking missions others refused. But what happened near the town of Altavilla would transform him from soldier to legend. September 1943. Allied forces had landed in southern Italy. The German army responded with ferocious counterattacks designed to drive them back into the sea. One of those counterattacks hit Kelly's Ranger unit. German infantry surged forward, supported by mortars and machine guns. American lines began collapsing. Positions fell. Units pulled back. But Kelly's squad held a stone farmhouse at the edge of the battlefield. It became the last defensive point blocking the German advance. Inside were a handful of Rangers. Outside were waves of attacking German soldiers. Retreat was ordered. Kelly refused. As German troops closed in, Kelly moved room to room with grenades and rifle fire. Every doorway became a choke point. Every window a firing port. German soldiers breached the outer walls. Kelly fought them at arm's length. At one moment, a fellow Ranger tried to throw a grenade into an approaching German cluster. Kelly shoved him aside and threw himself into the blast radius instead, absorbing danger to protect his men. Witnesses later described German bodies piling near the entrance. Attack after attack collapsed against Kelly's position. German troops began believing the house was defended by many soldiers. In reality, it was largely one man. By the time the battle ended, dozens of German soldiers lay dead around the farmhouse. Kelly's stand halted the local German breakthrough and stabilized the Allied line. His Medal of Honor citation records repeated solo engagement against superior forces at point-blank range. Historians estimate that Kelly personally killed over 40 enemy soldiers during the Altavilla fighting. For an infantryman in close-quarters combat, that number is staggering. But the true impact was not just the bodies left behind. It was time. Kelly bought time for American defenses to reorganize. Time for reinforcements. Time that prevented collapse. One man altering a battlefield. Yet Kelly's ferocity, as shocking as it was, would be surpassed. Because in the skies above Europe and the Pacific, American pilots would achieve destruction at an even greater scale. And among them, one fighter ace would become the second highest air-to-air killer in U.S. history.